Welcome to Crim's Guitars, welcome to Patrons Questions, where I'm going to answer a question of yours and show you something that's happening in the studio. Okay, first of all, news. 90 Hour is progressing, although there will not be any videos, 90 Hour build, traditional type videos this week or next. We will catch up and essentially edit twice as many videos as you would normally get in the next week. Essentially, the current project was supposed to be, you know me, it's taking, hi patrons, how's it going? So, I'm not as far ahead with the 90 Hour build as I thought I would be. Lots of stuff's happened in the last couple of weeks, and we had planned on doing a new giveaway build to go live on Black Friday, which is cool because, you know, that's the plan. And we were thinking about this about 2 months ago, and it was all planned, and I was going to, you know, leisurely build the guitar and then release it, and Talitha would have loads of footage to edit well in advance and all that jazz. And then, well, Tom and James said, no, do you know what? We don't really need to do a build and a giveaway and a big sale and all that sort of stuff at Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that sort of stuff. Let's not. And I'm like, hey, excellent, because it means, you know, I can just carry on finishing some things. And I was supposed to be finishing the Grace Kelly's Eyes inlay that I've got over there, and etc. 2 weeks ago, Ben, we've changed our mind. Can you still do that build you were talking about? You know, the awesome one with the things and the stuff and the stuff. Yes, yes I can. You horrible people. So anyway, Talitha is now editing flat out. I am currently building flat out, and once again the build will only be finished just as the videos are going live. But anyway, it's going to be amazingly fun. What it means though is that we're not going to be able to edit any more 90 Hour for the next week, maybe 2 weeks, while this series goes live. Now, well, as I said, as an apology, you will get double the amount of videos moving forward. If you are not a $20 patron, then this will still keep on going. Now, first of all, this is the guitar in front of me that I'm building for this giveaway. And I'm going to tell you what the plan is. Just don't tell anyone else. Hold on, I've lost my test. Oh, come on. Where's it all gone? I had a lovely test piece. There we go. So, okay, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. There's a furniture maker called Seth Rollins, and what he does is he takes a single piece of wood, like this, and he puts it on his bandsaw and he makes some cuts, and essentially that wasn't very impressive, essentially you end up with something that is expandable and moving and posable. And I thought the second I saw that I could make a whole guitar out of a single piece of wood, apart from the fretboard, of course, because although I don't want to do truss rod router from the rear. No, thank you. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I did a quick test, and this is what's happening. So this build, it's going to be going live pretty much daily from sometime next week. And it's going to be great fun. Now, yeah, moving forward, the 90 Hour is going to progress much faster as well, because I really need to. There's so much to do. In other news, sleep. You know, I talk about coffee a lot. Lack of coffee isn't my problem. Lack of sleep is. I've sort of placed a moratorium now on work after 10 o'clock in the evening. unless I can absolutely, unless I can't avoid it in any way. And literally 3 or 4 days into actually trying to sleep properly, everything is better. Everything's better. Anyway, I have a question here, and this is an interesting question. This is from Jay. He says, I've got a friend who's been looking for a baritone flying V. Cool. It wouldn't be much of an issue except he wants a Snow Falcon style build where everything is painted white. We all know what that means. White guitars being a massive pain aside, the main issue is that I have no idea how to do a bright white fretboard. Gibson used a white polymer for theirs that I don't have access to. Am I better off just doing a plain maple board and painting it, then lacquering everything, or is there a better way? I've never built something with a lacquered fretboard and I'm not sure how that whole process works either. Okay, so first of all, you are, I was about to be incredibly facetious there. You're on the internet. You're getting in touch via Patreon. There are multiple plastic shops online who sell plastics, different plastics and polymers and things like that online. I'm not entirely sure what Gibson have used in the past, but an acrylic, a white acrylic, or even a clear acrylic with a white backing on it, or mirrored fretboard, anyone? Is what I would consider doing it. There is a relatively new company in the UK called Grey Guitars, and funnily enough, he was at the guitar show 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he came up and said, "Oh, Ben, I wouldn't be building guitars if it wasn't for your YouTube videos," which I both feel guilty and quite proud of. But some of his guitars, am I talking about the right person? I'm not even entirely sure if I think I might be conflating two luthiers. There is a luthier who was at a recent guitar show, I think it was Grey Guitars, or Grey's Guitars, who has a Perspex top on his instruments. And it gave a very, very nice finish. It looked amazing. And it's very easy because there's no rubbing down or lacquering, all that stuff. So I would do that if I had to. Failing that, yes, painting and lacquering is a possibility. The issue is in 20 years' time, you're probably going to end up going through it. Very, very quickly, the process is make your fretboard as you normally would, fine sand it, put your frets in, get the finish absolutely perfect, fine sand it and all that jazz. Then over the frets, you put your paint, and I would probably actually avoid painting and lacquering. I would try and get a really hard wearing white paint. There's 2K paints that are the finish themselves. They don't need to be over lacquered, because that, I think, it should last longer. I would, if I was using a paint and then a lacquer, I would paint it, slice down with a razor blade or a scalpel down each side of the frets at an angle, so you're going underneath the fret. Take the paint off the fret, and then I would lacquer it and do the same thing again. Once the lacquer is cured, run a scalpel down either side of the fretboard, either side of the fret, and peel the lacquer off, and that's how you then get back to the to polished frets, etc. If you do it the other way, paint the fretboard, then put the frets in, you often end up with bubbling and peeling and issues as you push the frets in, and if you have to glue the frets in, it really is a huge nightmare and very difficult to recover from. It's not fun. It's not a fun process. I don't like lacquered fretboards because of the ball ache that it entails. But anyway, that's what I would do. I would go for a polymer or an acrylic or something like that first. And then it's surprisingly straightforward to use. I mean, you could put a radius on an acrylic fretboard quite easily using a sanding radius block or a leveling beam, something like that. You can't plane it, but you can scrape it, etc. And yeah, that way, it depends on the acrylic that you use. It should be hard enough to last quite a long time. But anyway, there we go. Now, in Well, I'm not going to take the camera around and show you anything because there's nothing really to show. This build is being called Bob 1. Bob stands for bend over backwards because the whole thing's going to be bendy and stuff. You'll notice that my my tests were in flamed sycamore, and then when I went down to the timber store to pull out the wood for the build, I realized I didn't actually have a blank of flame sycamore big enough to do this that was dry. We've got giant blanks outside, but they're not dry enough. So I've gone for, I think it might be teak. It used to be a staircase. And of course, this is a lot more splintery. It's got a much more defined grain and a bit scary. But anyway, it's gonna be amazing. What other news? I don't think there is any other news. It's all happening. I'm at a guitar show. I'm at a woodworking show up in Yorkshire. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yeah, that's another thing which is causing trouble with the 90 hour. Life is interesting, but I'm sleeping better now, so I feel better about everything. Thank you for your support. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll see you soon. What to do next?